Hi guys and welcome to Fandom Newbie. My name is Shruti and today we're going to be talking about my top book recommendations for kids. Now, the age group that I'm going to be focusing on is between the ages of 8 to 14. So the books that I'm recommending today are suitable for this age group, but honestly, if you're a beginner who wants to read good books, or even if you're an adult and you want to read a good children's book, then stick around because I'm going to be recommending some really good ones in this video. So the first book that I want to talk about is Charlotte's Web by E.B White. Now this book has been one of my favorites since I was a kid. I read it when I was, I think, in the 3rd standard or something like that. And it really touches your heart. The story is very simple, like the crafting of the story is very simple, and it's about barnyard animals, like it's about a farm. Our main character is a pig named Wilbur, who is actually basically being put up for slaughter because there's like a few things that are wrong with him. And the story follows with Wilbur trying to survive, and also the friendship that he develops with a spider named Charlotte. Now, even though this is a children's book that is told through the perspective of these barnyard animals and through the personification of these barnyard animals, the story touches upon some really deep topics like love, friendship, death, sadness, loss, like a bunch of emotions, and they're conveyed in a really simple way that is very easy for kids to understand and also to kind of emote with the animals. Also, this book will seriously bring you to tears, even though I know it's about animals, but honestly, the way it's written, the way the story is written is so heart-wrenching, and in some places, I assure you, you will start crying because it is just so beautifully crafted. The next book that I want to recommend is actually not a book, but it's an author, and that is Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl books are honestly some of the best books that you can read, whether you're a child or an adult or just anyone. Read Roald Dahl's books because they are just such a treat. He writes so simply and his stories are just full of imagination, wonder, such amazing characters and so much adventure that honestly you cannot put it down. Like honestly, all of his books have these elements in it, like the amount of imagination, the crafting of the story, and just very fun and relatable characters. If I can recommend 5 Roald Dahl books to you, I would say you have to read Matilda, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, The BFG, and my absolute favorite, Witches. Honestly, all of these, like I said, are just wonderful stories that any kid would love to read because they all have this sense of adventure, and the main characters are mainly children who go on these adventures. So it's just so much fun to read and I highly recommend it. The next book on my list is also actually a bunch of books, and that is Goosebumps by R.L Stine. Now, if you're looking for a good horror fix, then Goosebumps is the way to go. Okay, so if you're like a slightly more mature kid, so if you're like 13 or 14 years old, then you might not find them as scary. But when I read them, like when I was 8 or 9 years old, they seriously scared the crap out of me. And I feel like they use a very, like Goosebumps books, they use a very cliched formula, like there are haunted houses or clowns or like werewolves, vampires, ghosts, like, you know, the typical horror genre stuff. It doesn't really get very deep like you know, like a Stephen King novel or whatever, but hello, it's written for kids. So I feel like if you're into the horror genre and you want a little bit of a spook, then Goosebumps is the perfect place to start because like honestly the books are not only scary, they're just also really fun to read because again, the protagonists of these books are kids. So it just makes it very relatable and really fun to read. If I can describe what Goosebumps is to a modern child, then I would say that they give off the same vibe as Stranger Things. So if you watch Stranger Things on Netflix and you really enjoyed it, then I think you will really enjoy reading Goosebumps. The next on my list is another book series, and that is Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snickett. Now what this book is about is that it basically follows the 3 Baudelaire children who are orphaned and they are left with an enormous fortune. But there is this master manipulator, Count Olaf, who is their last like living relative, who is trying to kill them to steal their fortune. And now the Baudelaire orphans basically have to go running away from Count Olaf, but along the way they also discover a lot of secrets and a lot of like different mysterious things about their parents and the secret societies that their parents have been a part of. The thing that I love about this book is that it really captures the spirit of kids. Like, you know, when you're a child and you really want, like, you feel like all the adults around you are absolute morons and that you are invincible. This book, I feel, really takes that feeling that a lot of kids might have when they're really young, and it brings it to life, because honestly, all the adults in this book are absolutely moronic, and the kids are the ones that are super endearing, they are super intelligent, and they are the ones that save the day at the end of each book. Also, the other thing that I really like about this book is the villain, because unlike other children's books like Harry Potter, where Voldemort is a villain who's not really like real in that sense or very realistic, Count Olaf is, yes, he's very over the top in the book or whatever, but he's actually, if you really go to see, he's a master manipulator, he's a psychopath, and he wants to kill children. So I just found that actually really, really scary to read about, that these kids are actually in great danger in every single book, who has like this adult who's hunting them and trying to kill them. So I found that the villain also was really interesting in this book, and the way it's written, the way it's crafted is just, it has so much fun and humor in it. And yeah, I think it's a treat to read for anyone. Even if you're an adult, I feel like you will love this book. And the last book on my list is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Now, this is a classic. But unlike other classics, I feel this one is actually quite simply written and can be read by children who are around 13 to 14 years of age. This book is about the lives of 4 sisters, and it's set during the American Civil War. Now, what I love about this book is firstly how all these 4 sisters who are like described in the book, they're all really flawed characters. Each one of them definitely have their endearments, and they each have the things that you like about them, but each of them are severely flawed, and no one's like the perfect woman or the perfect girl in a society that wants women to be perfect. The other thing that I really like about this book is that this book was written in the 1800s, but even though it was written in the 1800s, it gives such a feminist angle to the way it describes its female characters. Like, they all have a sense of a little bit of ambition, they all have a little bit of independence that they want for themselves, and our main character, Jo March, she is just amazing. And I feel like if you're a book nerd and if you're like a book lover, I feel like she's one character that everyone will love. Like, she's like the Hermione of this book, I feel. Like, she's a tomboy, she's independent, she's an author, she wants to publish a book, and it's just, I don't know, I just really, really loved reading about Jo March. The other thing that's touched upon is the effect of war, and also how it affects this family economically, which I thought was very interesting and also very well highlighted in this book. Basically, this book is another really good book to read, especially if you want to read a good classic book that is very simply written, that has very endearing characters, especially strong independent women characters, and a story that will touch your heart, will make you cry, but also will make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. So yeah, those are my recommendations of books for kids. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below letting me know what are some of your recommendations for kids. And of course, if you like this video, do subscribe to my channel for more book related videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.